Kravitz. If you have not followed his Triple H horse racing podcast, you're missing out. It's one of the best podcasts in the country.
Good evening and welcome to episode 309 of the HHH Racing Podcast. I'm your proud host, Howard Kravitz. Thanks for joining us tonight as we are starting a brand new meet coming up tomorrow as we're filming this Thursday night. Tomorrow, Friday, the Fairgrounds in NOLA opens up, and we are covering the late pick 5 this Saturday, and it's a good one. Opening weekend at the Fairgrounds. Please make sure you hit that red subscribe button. See it down there at the bottom of the screen? You can see it. If you haven't hit it, smash it. That red subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button as well, the like button, and also the notification bell so that you know when new content will arise. You can follow me on Twitter at HKravitz, and scrolling at the bottom of the screen, my email, hkravitzhorse@gmail.com for questions, comments, concerns, issues, queries, celebrations, good things, bad things you want to say, whatever. I'll take all of it. You can listen to this on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. Power Picks. If you're a subscriber of Power Picks, I'm not a mess. Maybe you're a mess. I don't know, but I'm a mess in the last race at Churchill on our Power Picks. 9-1. I had some nice, juicy, especially place and show bets, but some win bets, trifectas. Again, the Power Picks were fantastic. They've been good. Check it out below the video player. And also go to our website, hhhracingpodcast.com. And we're on Instagram, instagram.com/HHH Racing Podcast. All right. We got a lot to talk about, and we have a hard out tonight about 8:40 Eastern here on Thursday night. So let's get right to our show. Again, we are previewing Fairgrounds, which opens up this weekend. And we got a bunch of people to help me do that. First of all, before we do that, shows next week. There it is. We just missed it. We are going on next week with our Thanksgiving schedule. We're going to be a little bit different. You're going to see it scrolling below on the screen. Ben and Boozin's going to go Tuesday night, and our flagship show is going to be Wednesday, and it's going to be late afternoon. Look, a lot of people are not working Wednesday, especially in the afternoon. And then Wednesday night, everyone's going to go out and get drunk and do whatever people do on the night before Thanksgiving. So I don't want to do a show on a Wednesday night when most people are not going to be home. So we're going Wednesday, 4 p.m. Eastern is our flagship show to cover a lot of really good stake races over the Thanksgiving weekend, mainly at Churchill, but we'll discuss that Wednesday, late afternoon. Ben and Boozin next week will be Tuesday night. Check your local listings, check YouTube. That's why you got to hit the notification bell so that you know when our content will be popping up. All right, let me bring on my co-host. First, from the East Coast of Maryland, I love the gear that he's wearing tonight. Let's bring him on right now. Happy to sport his Shards gear. I love it. Pete Visco, and from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and the Saratoga Special, back from quite the last few weeks for sure. But the gang is all here. Paul Halloran. Guys, good to have everyone back. How are we doing?
Very good. How are you?
Good. What's up, Paul?
I got my St. James the Great hat on. Big win at Laurel last Saturday. 70 buyer, 2-year-old on turf.
Love it.
He looked good. He looked good, Paul. I love it. From the one hole tip top went well. Pete, you got your little gift. You got a little a ticket, also a voucher or a ticket, just for
got that too. Actually,
I will set for Pete's sake.
Sitting right here.
I guess that would be appropriate.
Yeah, that's right. Pete's sake is fine. Everything's at my sake, so it's all good.
Does the hat fit you? It's all good, Pete.
It fits great. I never wear hats, so this is a special occasion. I never wear them on the show, I should say. So this is a very special occasion.
Looks good, guys. I don't know about you, but as I was constructing my pick 5 ticket for today, I was thinking just going about all, and hoping that it only costs about $5. If you don't, I think you guys know what I'm talking about, right?
Well, if you have a FanDuel account, you can do that.
I do. Look, I do have a FanDuel account. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, that was
what a mess.
That was interesting. And also, Paul, I got to say before we start, real quick, your best friend Rich Strike is not going to be in the sale. They're pulling him out of the sale and keeping him in light training.
Too bad, because I almost, Howard, instead of coming home from Kentucky last Saturday, I almost stayed just to bid $37 on him in the sale.
Ouch.
And I'm glad I didn't stay. I came home. So I am glad he's going back into training, though. So because then Pete can pump him up and people will bet him and we'll just have the usual result.
He can be our Breeders' Cup Classic look ahead winner for next year when we do our 2024 preview show.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Stephen, smash that like button. Stephen, thank you. Michael already smashed. Greatly appreciate it. Michael also has some thoughts about Rich Strike. We'll skip that comment. Penn State Scott, good to have you on. I love it. All right, we're gonna jump right in. So what's happening, guys, is we have Kevin Kilroy coming on in just a few minutes. He got caught up doing something, but he'll be with us in a few minutes. Kevin is fantastic. I saw him at the Breeders' Cup. He is the simulcast analyst for Fairgrounds. He did a great job last year. I think that was first year full time. It feels like it was longer, but I think last year was his first year. It might have been his second. I'm had a long week, but anyway, the kids are a little bit rambunctious, guys, as you can imagine, getting into Thanksgiving weekend. They're all thinking about turkey and everything. So, Paul, you met Penn State Scott also, huh? At the Breeders' Cup, apparently.
Yes, it was a pleasure. What a great guy. Yes, we saw him twice. Saw him on Friday and Saturday. Yes,
very nice.
Great.
All right, so guys, we're going to jump right into the late pick 5 at the Fairgrounds, and Kevin Kilroy is going to be joining us really probably any minute. And we also might have a little bit of a surprise guest also coming. I don't want to say who. You guys don't even know, but we might have someone popping in that has a lot of Fairgrounds intel as well. Let's jump right in. Let me take off the banners. We're going to talk about the late pick 5 again at Fairgrounds. It's their opening weekend. Guys, as I bring this up on the screen, Paul and Pete, I don't know if you guys are sort of regular players of Fairgrounds. You got a lot of choices, coming up here with Oaklawn's opening up, and then the Gulfstream Winter Championship meet is coming with actual full-blown nice turf racing starting in December. When you guys think of Fairgrounds, Paul, real quick, what's your first thought? Is it the Triple Crown season? Is it, I mean, the turf course actually looks outstanding. If you've seen pictures of the Fairgrounds turf course, hopefully they can keep it that way. And any general thoughts? It's not probably a track you play too often, Paul, I would assume.
I play it occasionally. What I think is they've really done a good job making the Derby preps more impactful. They tweaked the distances a little bit.
Yep.
So it has really become a more popular road to get to Kentucky. In the past, you may not see a horse just going all the way through Louisiana to get there, but that's fairly commonplace now. And on the Philly side too, for the Oaks. So I think they've done a good job. And the other thing that I think of how it is, it's a fairly long stretch, as I recall.
Yes.
So I get beat a lot.
It goes on quite a while, Pete, especially when you have a horse in the front. You're like, where's the wire? Where's the wire, Pete?
Well, I usually have the horses in the back closing, so I enjoy the long stretch.
He likes it.
Mike Austin said he plays it on the big days. I'm probably the same and same with Paul, where generally leading up to the Derby, you play him those weekends. But again, I'm more of a, let's look at the tracks this weekend, see who's going, see which one has sort of the most intriguing card, and then jump in. And so if Fairgrounds has it, fantastic.
I will say, look, and Kevin Kilroy might not admit it fully, but I mean, because he works for Churchill Downs Incorporated, but everyone knows it. The turf situation last year was a complete, utter disaster. Remember, they didn't run on the turf a long time, and then we were on the turf. The inside was like a sand pit, and they were avoiding it like the plague, and they were like way out on the outer rail. Remember, guys, and we did cover some races and some days there. I'm looking forward, if they can keep the turf course in good condition, I'm looking forward to betting Fairgrounds a lot more, because their turf racing, guys, is really good. And let's the fact of the matter is, pretty soon, if not, well, actually the next few weeks, the only turf racing east of the Mississippi is in Florida other than the Fairgrounds. So they need to get that turf course and keep it the way it is, because I think all of us sort of like turf racing in general. There's big fields, and Fairgrounds has a beautiful turf course where you can close, Pete, because it's a long stretch when it's in good shape. So let's just hope it stays that way. Again, Kevin will be coming on in a minute, talk about the meet and our picks. But guys, we're going to jump right in. Here we go. This is the late pick 5 on Saturday, and it starts in race 6, everyone. Race 6, the late pick 5 on Saturday. You see the local time there, 3:15, so 4:15 Eastern. Let me go ahead and bring our picks on the screen. And again, Kevin Kilroy from Fairgrounds will be joining us in the next five or 10 minutes or so. It starts with my favorite guys, a 5.5 furlong turf sprint. But I will say that you can close on this turf course, and the 5.5 on the turf, the guys at the Fairgrounds, sort of like Keeneland, where it's pretty fair, and closers can come from behind and do okay. So you see our picks on the bottom of the screen. It's a main special. The rail is out 8 feet. I just want to mention that because it's not all the way down. It's out a little bit, and it's a big field. I'm assuming they're going to be on the turf. Let me bring you guys on the screen a little bit here. So it's been very dry in Louisiana, like the entire summer into fall. In fact, they've had like brush fires and stuff. Of course, this week they've had quite a bit of rain early in the week, but it's actually well needed. Tomorrow, Friday, I don't know if they're going to be on the turf. I'm guessing they will be. Saturday, I'm almost sure they will be. I don't think it'll be firm. I think it'll be listed more as good, would be my guess. And as we all know, guys, on most turf courses, if it's a little bit wet, you probably want to be on the outside of the turf course. So I'm going to assume, even though it looks great and it looks fair, that the outer paths might be a little better, but we'll see. Anyway, it's a big field of 12. You see our picks on the screen, and I'm going to go, Pete, to you first. You've got the 10 Norwich. By the way, the more than favorite is in the main body, at least without the A's, is the number 9, which I was sort of surprised. I don't know about you guys, but Honky Tonk Highway for Calhoun and Raylu, who was the leading rider last year. He's back again, but you're going Norwich, Pete, for Sri DeVoe, and David Cohen, who I don't know for sure, guys, but I think is going to be moving to Oaklawn when they open, because usually he rides at Oaklawn. I was a little surprised to see him in the PPs. What do you like about Norwich, Pete, who I actually have on top also, and Paul has absolutely nowhere?
Well, I do. No offense to you, I do like have that Kevin has this horse in second, so that gives me, it gives you a little bit of confidence into an 8-to-1 shot. So I'll take that.
I don't expect you to say a lot of nice things about my picks anyway, Pete.
Well, so me and you are usually, so every once in a while we have the same pick, but since Kevin is the Fairgrounds expert, we'll take his word a little bit more supportive there. So this one. I sort of like horses sometimes first run out where maybe something goes wrong. And with this horse, and that's the reason why they don't run as well. This horse was bet down. You could see basically 5-2, still ran 5th, and was working well. What I liked is this horse was working well, which I assume is why he wound up taking money. He was a $385,000 purchase. Cherie DeVoe's been pretty hot. So going into that race, it seems like this horse was well meant, ran the race, broke kind of sharp and sort of gutted out, and it looked like it had nice position, but then got checked terribly and I assume you saw the same thing. And then after that, it almost seemed like the jockey just was like, screw this, we're probably done for this race. But the horse ran on, and the horse it's not like he stopped with it and sort of backed it to last, ran on a bit at the end, still kept coming. Picks up Cohen, which I'm not a huge David Cohen fan, but that's fine with this one. And then I just thought this one when I saw the price, especially, I was like, maybe because people don't notice and people look at this horse and say, the debut wasn't so great, maybe we'll go elsewhere. That's my thinking. But I thought that maybe you just didn't see the best of this horse on debut, and Cherie DeVoe can have him, firing second one out.
I found it weird that there's no buyer. It's not a zero buyer, everyone. It's just not a buyer listed.
Well, I figured that's why you picked it. Once I saw the dash there, I figured that was right up your alley.
Pete, you read this race exactly the way I did in terms of this horse. And we're not going to watch the replay because it's, again, issues with direct, replay watching. Yeah. But this horse did steady badly. He was on the inside, in between. And then just didn't look like the jock Torres really wanted to, be aggressive with him and just sort of let him run on in the stretch. Didn't really close, but like you said, he didn't pull him up either. So everything you said, I have nothing negative to say. I like the fact this horse has already run once, and there's a lot of question marks here in this race. So I do like Norwich. And guys, we're ready to bring on the man, the myth, the legend, the simulcast expert, host, analyst from the Fairgrounds and Churchill Downs Incorporated. Let's bring him on via Kansas City, but now in NOLA. Kevin Kilroy. Kevin, let's go full screen. How you doing, buddy?
Dudes, good to see your faces. How's it going?
Hey, what's up, Kevin? It's been a while. Definitely been a while.
Right? I know. I saw some of you guys at the big events, right? Breeders' Cup and Kentucky Derby and all that sort of good stuff.
Oh yeah.
You guys, I saw Howard walking around with his entourage. It was like, man, this guy's made it. This dude's got an entourage. He's walking around, in between making his bets for the Breeders' Cup, BC.
Yeah, well, I don't know about the entourage part, but I did bump into Kevin making it look like he was at the $100 window, guys. If I'll have to double check, but it looked like he was making some big bets care of that CDI cash is
he was slumming it. He was slumming it at the $100 window because they didn't have a $500 window there for him.
Hey Kevin, real quick, I want to get back to the PPs. I'm going to go a little bit shorter tonight. We've got a hard out at about 8:40, but real quick, I'd be remiss not to ask you two quick questions. First of all, you've done some excellent write-ups for Fairgrounds already. People should check those out on the website. There's just three things I want to talk to you, just 1 or 2 minute quick pushes. Jockey colony this year, any trainers? I know some New York trainers that are in, including my guy Ray Handel's got some stalls, and then also the turf course situation. If you could just hit those 3 points real quick, and then we'll get back to the first leg of the pick five.
Yeah, definitely. The turf course is easy. It looks beautiful. It looks fantastic. Looking at it, it looks a little bit like a golf course. It might play fast. So that's something to keep in mind, and that's just sort of a non-expert eye, but just sort of seeing it the way it's cut, and maybe won't be so cuppy, in the way that those late turn of foots tend to appreciate. So yeah, we're good to go on that, which is fantastic. The fields are looking great. And there's a lot. I mean, it's going to be a competitive meet. You're going to have to be hustling out there. And I heard you guys mention David Cohen, right? And I know he's got a new agent. I mean, the agent jockey game is just a fascinating one to me, to know all that goes into it. And we got Ron Fauché, leading trainer past 3 years, now is an agent. He brought Ben Curtis over, and probably not familiar with him out there unless you follow England or, racing. And, he's been in Australia, he's been in Dubai, he's had success all over, in Korea as well. But he's a top 5 jock over there, year in, year out. Has won the all-weather championship, knows how to ride, on a dirt course like he was doing in Dubai. But of course, the all-weather is pretty close, especially at Southwell in England. And then the turf as well. So he's going to be having live mounts. You got to watch out for him. We also have Jaime Torres coming in. I mean, talk about a sensation through his first year. He's been really great. And I know Ray Handel said that he's going to look to Torres a lot. He likes him. He worked with him in New York when he was getting going. And those New York trainers are super intriguing, right? Ray Handel, Robert Falcone Jr., Rob Atras. I think they're coming down. I think they want to win, right? I think they want to get not worry about the long career of the horses in terms of, keeping them. If they love them, they're going to drop them aggressively is my sense of things. So they're going to have turf horses. They're going to be live there. And I think, we've got an interesting one on Friday's card with Falcone bringing in a class dropper. So you've got to be on your toes about that stuff and sort of take a stand on what do you think they're there to sell, or they're there to win and sell on some of these. And then of course the Riv, you guys know Larry Ravelli, right? No balls trainer. 2 Phils. He's got 41 stalls, and the Riv is always live, right? He's always live, so he could be going for that title. So those guys you want to keep a close tab on and know those the agent games and the jockey games. And David Combs seems like he has some live mounts. He's getting calls, so maybe his agent has got him on those.
Kevin, is he staying? I mentioned, I could be wrong. I was guessing. Is he actually staying all meet at Fairgrounds, or is this just via Oaklawn? Because usually he rides at Oaklawn. Yeah,
he was here last year, and he didn't love his success, and he's got a new agent, but cool. he's put some good beats together. Just haven't seen it necessarily last year with us.
Kevin, look who's in the chat. Our good friend Chad Schexnader of the Fairgrounds podcast, great guy. He said, this is interesting, real quick, down below, Kevin. Something to keep in mind, Fairgrounds 2-year-old races, Lasix is allowed in Louisiana here. So plenty of those horses come from Kentucky who started their career off Lasix now can have it. That's an angle that people need to pay attention to, Kevin, right?
Yeah, absolutely. No HISA, no HISA, HISA, however you want to say it in Louisiana. That's something else to think about. And I just remembered it's Matt Mimolo is the new agent for David Cohen, also represents E.T. Baird, Chris Amy, and Barbosa, who's coming in. So he might be doing some good work for him.
All right. Now, listen, there's a horse in this race that you've got on top. and that Paul's got on top. Paul, I know you're a big Catholic boy fan for a lot of reasons. You love the horse, obviously the religion thing. But number 6, now we're in my territory, Paul. This is my tribe right here. Oy vey. I got you guys are going with this horse. Kevin, this horse didn't really run well last time, but boy, the breeding certainly says this horse could take to the turf.
Yeah. Oy vey seems like, that was a good first run. That was a speed favoring track that he was on, and he got in good position right behind the winner, and just didn't have the full distance that day, right? But turf is where we want to be. This is a half to go in good, who's had all sorts of good success on the turf. So I think this is a good spot. Second out from Brad Cox is something that you want to trust.
Yeah, there's going good. And again, we'll just go back here. The damn good deed was really nice horse. So there's turf sprinting all over the place on the breeding. Paul, I'm assuming you saw the same thing and just figured this horse could step up a ton here in the second start.
Yes, I did have the dam being stakes placed on turf. 2 sibs of 1 on turf. Brad Cox going dirt to turf with second-time starters in turf sprints is 19%. I think the fact that Brad wanted to run this horse on turf out of the chute is telling. Brad runs the majority of his horses on dirt first, so this horse was entered for turf, kept him in probably just to get him a run. He was ready to run at Keeneland. Constitution's an okay turf sire, so yeah, I actually like this horse a lot.
Yeah, and Kevin, before you came on, we talked about Norwich, who Pete and I have on top, had a lot of trouble first out, $385,000 Munnings colt for DeVoe and the aforementioned David Cohen. I think this horse is gonna run very well. I don't think we're getting 8-1 though at all, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't either. Nor on that Oy vey 6-1 or 5-1 or whatever that is. Yeah. And another thing to think about with these turf horses, he probably just didn't, when he was asked, didn't have that kick on that surface, right? But to get him on the turf, he'll probably be able to produce. So it might not just be getting tired that first run, but maybe just didn't love the ground when he was asked late.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a spread race for me. I mean, most turf sprints are. We'll talk about our pick 5s here in a little bit. Let's go to the next race, guys. And everything should be on turf, Kevin, Saturday. The weather's clearing out. It should be fine Saturday, right? I don't think it's going to be firm, though, if I had to guess.
Fingers crossed for tomorrow. I mean, it should be good. It looks good. We just have had sort of a sprinkle, drizzle, humid deal going on. But, you just never know with turf courses, especially down below sea level. But Saturday, we should be great.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead on to the next race here as I bring it up on screen. It's race 7. This is the second leg of the pick 5. It's the Jacob V. Morale Stakes. It's the Morale Memorial Stakes. They're going mile and 70. This is for Louisiana breds. $75,000 is the purse. You see the field here. They're going 2 turns, and the morning line favorite here is the number 7. Who took the money? Nice Louisiana bred for Calhoun and Deshaun Parker. Let me go ahead and switch the banners right here. Kevin, you're always going to be first as our guest. Kevin, great minds think alike, buddy. At least I hope. You're going with Behemoth Star, as am I. Shane Wilson, Raylu. If this horse is 9-2, Kevin, I will be making a nice big win bet. I don't think we're getting 9-2, but what do you like about Behemoth Star in this stake race?
Yeah, I mean, this is an interesting race pace-wise. We can see that Mangum from Set Hut was entered in here a little bit late. I think they saw that there wasn't much pace signed on. So I want someone who's going to be forward. There's a lot of dangerous deep closers in here. Behemoth does sit a little bit off of it, but can be ridden a little bit more closer to the pace. So we'll see how Ray sort of slots him. But I like his form line. He's definitely one that sort of at first glance seems to have gone out of form, not getting the wins recently, but he's kind of done this before. Last year, he went through the same sort of this curve of, a big race at Evangeline Downs, a little bit slower, a good one at Fairgrounds and a big one. And that next one there, early December. And we're kind of seeing that same thing, a really big race at the beginning of the year of his year, 4-year-old, went a little bit out of form for the next 2. And then he's starting to come back in the right direction. So, It's an interesting situation. Britland has been with Camejo for the past few years, Jose Camejo, and now they're with Shane Wilson. So there's question marks, having a new barn for Britland Stables, which has, is the owner of Star Guitar, and Evelyn Benoit is a fantastic person in our horse racing community, and always has some live runners, especially on the big days. But I think we're fresh in here. I think we're going to have a nice setup, and I think we want to trust this one. But there's a lot in here that could get it done at a price.
Yeah, there's a lot of outside speed. My main question here, and I like this horse a lot, and you this is where we need your intel. This work tab is very spotty. It's been spotty for a while. That's my only concern, Kevin. But he worked well at Fairgrounds, 48. Breezing, best 3 out of 25. I'm assuming they're pointing to this spot, but the it's not really the layoff. It's more the work tab. Any thought on the Shane Wilson barn in terms of how he works horses?
Yeah, Shane usually works them pretty regularly, and definitely works them pretty fast. But with specifically noticing how Camejo worked with Britland Stables, there were some times where you're like, there's some big gaps there. I wonder what's going on. So just because they're not official drills doesn't mean that they're not getting their exercise and staying fit,
That's true. And this Touch Upon a Star is an absolute monster. This is the best Louisiana bred going, and the way this horse is going, and I'll just go ahead and people see a lot of seconds. Who is this horse losing to? This Touch Upon a Star is a complete monster. I mean, look at this. He's only a 4-year-old. He's only earned 528. This horse could pass Star Guitar as the all-time leading Louisiana bred if he keeps it up, Kevin. So losing to this horse is really there's no shame in that.
No, not at all. Yeah, he can beat Open Company, and hopefully will be put in those spots. And Behemoth's gonna be back on our long stretch at Fairgrounds, which I think he'll appreciate. That Remington Park was pretty quick. He couldn't quite get his full good thing going to chase those Open Company foes last time, even though just N1X.
7 starts at Fairgrounds, Kevin. 3 wins, 4 seconds for Behemoth Star. I'd say that's pretty salty. Now, his main competition is the horse that Pete and Paul have on top, and I can't blame you guys. Who took the money? Well, maybe the 7's going to be taking the money on Saturday for Calhoun. Again, you see a lot of, there's Touch Upon a Star. This was sort of last year's Touch Upon a Star, right, Kevin? I mean, this was a serious, really nice horse last year as a 4-year-old. The question I have for you, Pete and Paul, was that last race just a prep, or is maybe he's tailing off? Obviously, you guys think it was just a prep and he can bounce back. Paul, your quick thoughts on who took the money? 5-2 morning line, by the way.
Yeah, I'm just hoping it's too bad to be true. I don't really there is no explanation for it, but if you do look past that, you got to go about 8 or 9 races down to find another bad race, and that was in an Open Company, 100,000 at Churchill. So, as you said, keeping similar company with Touch Upon a Star, it's run with Behemoth Star a few times, more than a few times, and back and forth. And if he puts up one of those mid-90s buyers that he has shown the ability to, I just think that becomes a very formidable figure in a race like this.
I mean, there's no doubt if he runs back to that, Pete, he's going to probably, I won't say win for fun because Behemoth Star's got some big numbers. Again, my concern here, Pete, and I have the concern for my top choice, this work tab, he was off, 5 months here, which you could say fine. He was pointing to the Fairgrounds meet, whatever. But then he raced on October 6th, and then he doesn't have a published work for another month. It's just, we're not used to seeing this, and I don't have enough intel to know. It just is a cause for pause for me.
Yeah, you do look at that, but again, it's hard to know. And like Kevin said, that doesn't mean they're not out there stretching their legs a bit, but you want to maybe have doubts about that. But again, this is a pretty wide open race. I think there's a few horses in here you can go to. With this one, again, you're just hoping he can regain what he was doing sort of last year, and then even at the beginning of this year, even on the turf, he had switched to the turf, was sharp. The one thing I do like, he's getting back to Deshaun Parker, is getting back up, who he's run, who knows this horse very well, has run great. And then that first race back was at 7 furlongs. Maybe it was just a little bit sharp for the first one back. Now he's stretching back out. Not that he hasn't won. I mean, his best buyer is going 7, but still he's stretching back out. And maybe with his late kick, that's that'll make him a little bit more comfortable. And hopefully he can unleash that. And we will probably need a little bit of speed up front though, for him to actually get to the wire. So hopefully a couple of those speed horses do go out.
Yeah, I
think
mean,
there is.
Calhoun's so great at using that Delta Downs track for prepping for Fairgrounds. 7 furlongs, a little bit sharp. Deshaun told me that he did need the rest there, so they probably didn't have him fully cranked for that one. But he's also one of these stubborn, mind of his own horses, and McMahon could have struggled with that, not knowing him as well as Deshaun. Deshaun knows him, but even though Deshaun knows him, he can ask, and he won't respond sometimes. Who took the money? It's just he's a lunatic. So
Okay.
he can come flying if he wants it. He'll get it though.
All right. I got a quick question, Kevin, because Calhoun trains the 7. He also trains the 9, the Highland Creek. This horse I'm actually a little bit interested in. I don't not can get into the weeds, but I like the last race especially because for the first time in a while he rated and finished. I know it was a much weaker field. I'm assuming that first call is Parker first call for Calhoun normally or at this meet, and then McMahon is sort of second call. Can you give us a little intel and the viewers and listeners on who Calhoun likes to have ride for his barn?
Yeah, Gutierrez is his first call.
Okay.
Though looking at these first 2 race days, there are some sort of interesting swaps and sort of stuff like that. So yeah, Ray Luce his first call, but he's pretty horse specific. Deshaun, he stays true to the ones who ride him well, so he knows this is Deshaun's horse. So that's always Deshaun, especially with a crazy man like that. And CJ McMahon, he's had success here. He's going to be maybe riding throughout the meet, but we'll just have to see. Otherwise, he'll be a Delta.
All right. Now the 6 is cross-centered, right? Did I write that down?
Yeah.
Correctly?
Yeah.
So where is it going, Kevin? Do we know?
No, I don't know. Chad might know. Chad could maybe talk to Jake Delhomme. And
that can make a big difference because if he's not in there, a lot of you guys have the 8. I have the 8 third. This is an improving speed horse that's only a 3-year-old. This horse could get loose and be a big factor for. There he is, Ben Curtis. This horse is really interesting to me, Kevin. You've got him third. I've got him third. Pete and Paul have him in the top 3 also.
Yeah, I almost put him on top. I mean, he's got some rest coming into this. This is Faucher's barn, but with his assistant trainer David Teray taking over. So he's been doing a good job recently, and I imagine he definitely knows how to work with this horse being a part of the team, and you got to trust that. Ben Curtis getting up. This will be a tough test. He's a 3-year-old facing some of these tougher, older foes, so that would be big. But if he breaks well, he doesn't need the lead, but he could be dangerous in here. You might want to think twice about.
He might be the now horse, right, Kevin? Sort of the one on the come, the one that's improving, the sort of unknown factor.
They always said turf was in the end where they wanted him, so we didn't see him run well on turf. So it kind of gave me a little bit of a pause, and then the break there. But he needed to freshen for sure.
The one quick thing. I was going to say the one quick thing you like about that one too is right after the trainer switch, you see at least on the dirt the two huge buyer jumps. He went from running in like the high 60s, low 70s to a 78 to an 85, and was improving there. So something David Terry's doing is actually maybe it took to it, and then it was the dirt, and then it was the turf that wound up sort of zapping him of whatever form he was in going into that. So if you hope he can regain that at a decent price.
Yeah. Hey, I meant to bring this up, guys, because Kevin came a little late on the bottom of the screen. I mean, laissez le bon temps rouler. Let the big time roll. Let the good times roll, baby. Right, Kevin? There we go. So
that's what they say.
There you go. There it is. Anyway, yeah.
I'm drinking hand grenades. You guys drinking hand grenades?
Oh, there we go.
Just water. It's just water. It's just the
all right. Well, who knows what these guys got? But let the good times roll for sure in New Orleans. Kevin, as I bring up the next race, can we put something to rest that I hear every year from people that maybe aren't familiar with Fairgrounds? Oh, it's such a long stretch. It helps closers all the time. Can we talk about that on the turf and dirt? I've seen plenty of wire jobs on both surfaces. Just because the stretch is long doesn't necessarily mean it helps closers, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think how you come out of that turn is huge. You want to be forward, you want to take it right, and you want to get distance pretty quick. You can, break horses' hearts in that long stretch by just having enough distance there. But yeah, we see speed hold often, and there's, you could say bias or whatever you want to call it, but it plays fairly well to speed. So yeah, I think it's for me, it's more forward than coming from behind at Fairgrounds.
Chad also want to mention that in regards to workout tabs and patterns, all horses who are at Copper Crown in Lafayette only have an official timer one day a week. Not exactly like the Oklahoma, Paul, but hey, it's Opelousas, Louisiana, I believe is where it is there in Lafayette. So, but Copper Crown is like the main training track in Louisiana. It's actually a nice facility. Have you been there before, Kevin?
No, I've never been up there. I know
Okay,
Calhoun uses
I
it
hear
well.
it's actually pretty nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, Chad's always
Anyway.
got the good stuff. Chad's got
all the insight. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Might not have the Fairgrounds podcast this year. I'm a little disappointed to hear that. I talked to Chad today, but maybe they'll get it going at the right time. Anyway, let's go to the next race. The next race right here is a turf race, and it's an optional optional claiming 50 allowance. Again, rail is only out 8 feet, about a mile and 1/16 distance. Let's hope the turf course plays fair. It's a huge field of 13. I mean, wow. Moneyline favorite is the Virginia bred, the number 5 Tufani for Stidham, and there he is, Ben Curtis. Again, I have a ton of respect for Michael Stidham. Let's bring up the banners and see who we've got in race 8. And Kevin. I mean, no, Kevin and I don't talk, but I try to be as smart as Kevin, because I figure if Kevin's got this horse on top, or the top same 2 I have, and Pete's got the same 2 in reverse order, we're all good. You are going with the 3-year-old filly Tufani for Stidham and Curtis, Kevin. What do you like about this horse as I bring up the PPs?
Yeah, Tufani is one that the barn's always been very excited about. Just took a little bit to get going there, and really ran well. When they finally stretched her out. Is one that doesn't need the lead, contended the pace, has those sort of tactical options, and that last race there on Virginia Derby Day, that was just a speed favoring track. 30,000 Kelvin just took them all the way, and that was just a really speed favoring track. So that was a tough race to try to get it done, of course, across there. And Fresh pointed in this spot. I think she makes a ton of sense. So we'll see what Ben Curtis can do on the turf.
I sort of agree with you. I know she looks a little bit light on the buyers compared to a few others, but I think she's going to step up. I've got a gazillion amount of respect, if that's even a word, for Michael Stidham, Kevin. We both know him well. He's a Midwest guy. He used to be Arlington a lot. The guy can train, and I think this horse has been working well, and I like the fact that he's got a local breeze. I know it's been on the dirt, but I do like when horses have sort of been there a little bit, Kevin, and gotten themselves acclimated, because it is humid. It is a little different climate, obviously. So I agree with you. I like Tufani. The number 4, Creative Cairo. I know I see 6-1. I got a feeling, Kevin, this horse will be the favorite, though, because they see a lot of mid-80 buyers, and they see Bobblehead, who I love, James Graham. This horse looks like the best closer on paper in a race that could have a lot of speed. I just have a weird feeling this horse will be the favorite, but if not, this mare is very live, too.
Yeah, I feel so. And, to talk about agents, James Graham's got Doug Bradar, and he's got a lot of live mounts, it seems. Could be switching things up a little bit. Lindsay Schultz been having great success, and the form seems there. And I think the distance cut back makes a lot of sense, in terms of where we were at. We're a mile and 1/8 for this, right?
Yes,
mile
and 16.
16.
Yeah. So I think that makes sense for this one, just to cut back in a mile and a half. And, I think has some class, so might be live in there. But I do agree that I think there's going to take some money to create Cairo.
Pete, I want to steal your thunder on both those. My only concern with the 4 is the 2 for 15. I'm not a real big fan of, but just seems like if this horse gets the right trip, she might just get the job done.
Yeah, that was my thought. This was a race. This is my least confident race out of the sequence. This was a spread race for me, so I was thinking the same thing. I did like that. Since Lindsay Schultz took this horse then from Clement, that a couple of the races were pretty strong, that at least from a buyer standpoint stayed steady. I like what Kevin said about a little bit of a cutback, so you can get maybe back to closer to the race 3 race backs. If you can get to that, I do. Again, we probably need a little bit of speed. It's going to be sitting off, so it'd be nice to have something to chase. So hopefully we can get that. But again, I like the 4 or the 5. I like a bunch of horses in this race.
Well, the 4 last time at 21 ran very well against our Callie Kim, who's just turned into a really nice marathon runner who won in New York.
I think we did that race because I had notes for this horse. So I only usually have notes if we're doing the race. So I think we did that because I had very positive notes for Creative Cairo at 20. So I kind of remember liking that horse even in that one. Sorry to cut you off there, but
no. I think the turn back's going to work. I think she's going to be flying late. I think she'll be further back because there's a lot of speed. Now, look, either we're going to be wrong, the three of us, or and Paul's going to be right, or vice versa, because Paul has 9-10. He's going to the outside. Present moment, Paul is an interesting closer, a filly coming in from Santa Anita, although she was in the Midwest. And then the 10 is our boy Raylu, who has got a lot of early speed and won by 8 last time. I just thought there was other speed in there, but you know what? This is a spread race, so I'm using both your horses defensively also. Who do you want to talk about first, Paul?
Well, I picked the 9. I like the price. I have in my notes at the bottom of this page that this is a spread race in the pick 5. But I do think the 9 is interesting at a price. Jaime Torres, who Kevin spoke about, Whit Beckman had some success at Keeneland, is certainly a good trainer. I think this horse could go either way. She has races where she's been forward and closed. She's had races where she's been forward and packed it in. Kentucky Downs, on being on the lead at Kentucky Downs, is a death knell. So forget that. But I think I just think she's interested in her price. She's run with some pretty good horses, Sister Luann for the flag. So I think the horse is interesting.
She ran well in Indiana against Justify My Love. I mean, I'm using her as a B. And then Yankee Dollar needs the lead, right, Paul? I thought there was some other speed in the race. The Sweet Chablis got to go a little bit later. Lady Jeopardy would go. There's an inside horse. I think is the 2. I think if I remember correctly, he's got some speed. Yeah. Toss way off, who's for Shadwell and Mitchell Merle, who's usually pretty aggressive. But maybe the 10 can get loose. I mean, it wouldn't be the craziest thing we've ever seen, Paul.
Yeah, well, that's kind of in Ray Lou we trust play, but I'll be honest with you, I never looked at the trainer. I'm not tripping over myself to bet Marcus Vitale, so I will be changing. I'll be changing up that pick.
Do you all know Vitale? I don't know this one.
Yeah, we could do another show for another day, Kevin.
We've got time. Go ahead, Paul. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I was just going to say, apparently Fairgrounds is one of the tracks he's not been ruled off on. So, anyway, another story for another day. But he does have my guy Raylo on him. But as I say, but to your point, Howard, taking the personalities out of it, the horse is 50% wins in her life. And, if she is, quote, the speed of the speed and, puts the other speed away, then maybe she gets brave.
Yeah. No, I think it's a wide open race. Stephen Vanderbrook wants to add the 2 that we talked about, Tasweya, who's for Shadwell. Tanner Hawkins, what's up, Tanner? Saw Tanner last night in the chat, so he's doing double duty. That's the way we need it, Pete, right? I mean, they should be watching Bet and Booze and then
watch them all
coming on and watching us. Spreading here for sure. I won't be leaving off the 2 or the 8. There is some Shadwell love, Kevin, for the 2. And Mitchell Merle, who I've met personally, a really good guy. He's very underrated, especially on the turf. I've seen him, win plenty of races, especially down there, Kevin, at decent prices. Don't sleep on Mitchell Merle, especially on the turf.
Yeah, he's a great gate jock. He gets them out and gets them going. So if you want your horse to be forward, he'll get it done. Yeah, but there is so much speed sign on. That's why I went for late kickers in this one.
I agree. Let's go on to the penultimate leg of the pick 5. It's on the screen. It's another stake for Louisiana Breds. Nice one. 6 furlongs, 75,000. It's the Larry D. Robideau Memorial Stakes. You see a huge field of 13. Man, they are bringing the heat, Kevin, with these field sizes, which is a very welcome sight for anyone that's a fan of horse racing. The morning line favorite here is Magnum, who's cross-entered the number 5. So we'll see what happens there at 4-1. After that, it's Lang's Day, the number 6 for Thomas and James Graham. Let me bring up the banner and for our picks for race 10 right here. And Kevin, do I have the right?
This is the 9th. Right?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Race 9. Yep. My bad. Race 9. Kevin, you're going to go with Lang's Day, who is an absolute dead closer, but has a long stretch to work with. You like the 6.
Yeah. I think it was 2 races there towards the end of this long layoff at Fairgrounds. Was it the one right before That was a big late close against SWOT Analysis. It was a, they went fast and he had some stuff to close into, but it was super impressive. I think that was a nice prep for this. I think he's got a late kick. I think it's going to set up for him. I think Jimmy Graham and Lee Thomas is an underrated or maybe underknown, maybe is a better way to say it, trainer who does a really fantastic job and has had success targeting this meet and getting stakes horses ready. I mean, he had some sprinters specifically go down to Gulfstream and have success, and he's done fantastic work. So I think Langsay is going to set up great for him. I like the draw, and they're going to cook in this one. They're going to go fast.
My only negative here, Kevin, I don't disagree, but just to throw it out to the viewers and listeners, this is a huge field. He's going to have to pass 12, 13 horses in the stretch and needs a complete pace meltdown. Now, maybe it's going to happen. It's just the kind of race where I respect the horse, Kevin, but there's a lot of things that have to go his way. I mean, you would agree with that, though, correct?
Yeah, but I mean, when we're talking pace meltdown, what I want to see is I want to see a horse who's going to be able to get hopefully to the rail, save ground, and definitely have the energy late. And Jimmy Graham, he knows how to find his spots or fight for his spots. I wouldn't say he's the Irad Ortiz of Fairgrounds, but he knows how to get aggressive. So I think he's going to be able to work out a good trip and yeah, I mean, I think when you have a pace meltdown, you want to look to closers. I think that's the way to go.
You're also the only one on the screen, Kevin's. I got Black Sword, the 9. I looked at Black Sword. Talk to him about why you like this horse. Ran some big races at Evangeline this summer, and that last race you would figure was a prep, didn't break well, really fast paced. You think this horse will sit right off the speed and could be a factor? I'm guessing.
Yeah, especially with Corey getting aboard. I mean, I think you got to find. I mean, what we learned last meet, Corey had been gone for a little bit, but you've got to follow his mounts. And when you see him riding for these horses that maybe you're like, wait a minute, what's he doing on a Ronnie, Averett horse? What's going on here? I think it does mean that it's live, and seeing some late kick from Black Sword specifically in that last one. It was an impressive one, and Super Ocho was much the best that day, and I think wired the field if I remember without looking at my notes. But
I got it right here, Kevin. There it is.
Yeah, loose on the lead there, and nice just a monster deal, which is over in Dubai. Before that, that was that was you're kind of like, well, what's going on? Delta Downs, who cares? But Super Ocho was a big one. So that was a big late run. I think it's going to set up for him, and Corey is he's fantastic with a late mover. I think he got this done last year with Big Chopper coming late, or that was Louisiana Champions Day sprint, and and it was Brian's Iron Mike who we've seen closers get these sprints for the state breds done in the past couple times that we've seen him run.
Okay, Paul, this is purely a play that I'm assuming we all have strong reasons. We're all going. Meaning you, Pete, and I. We're all going with Jackhammer, who has not raced since last February. I don't want to steal anyone's thunder, but Paul, we're all thinking alike for some reasons that need to be explained. What is that you like, Paul, about Jackhammer 6-1 morning line?
Well, I think it's the old, you don't give up on a horse for one race. The horse right into stakes company off the maiden win, 2 impressive stakes wins, listed, not graded, but still, and then just a total clunker. Obviously, something was amiss, hence the 9-month layoff. But certainly, Calhoun coming off this layoff is not a concern at all. Again, my guy Raylu, right back to him. I don't think this horse is going to be 6-1. I'd like to think, he's going to be 6-1, but I don't think he is. But I just think if something went wrong in that last race, which is the reason for the layoff, and the horse is ready to go, and I have faith that Calhoun has him ready to go, I think he could be right back on top.
Pete, there's the layoff. Now the numbers are a little bit below his normal. He's normally 20% and 51% of the money, but there's nothing wrong with 16% and basically 50% of the money with an average payout of almost, what is that, 7-2 off a 6+ month layoff. Pete, this horse looks to me, if he's ready, I think is a serious player in this race.
Yeah, and I like the cutback we're getting also is because when this horse was really explosive going when he was sprinting, and then the other thing I did like too, if you I don't remember if I watched the race or just was looking at the chart, but this horse rushed up into a pretty hot pace and then faded, but it was going a mile 70. And again, we don't know if something even went wrong there. So you figure
Pete,
with
that's
Ray,
the horse that we talked about in the last race, the 8 horse.
it
all
is
night,
that 8 all night moonlight.
So
Yep.
obviously he was keeping good company very early in his career. Sorry to interrupt you.
And was 40 cents, 40 cents on the dollar in that race. So again, if something went wrong, then I guess the concern is off that layoff, is this the one maybe just needs one, but at a decent price in a field that's wide open, I'd rather take a shot on a horse that maybe we haven't seen even close to what this horse is going to be yet. And the upside could be there. So if this one pops sprinting, and I like that from the outside, should be able to work a good trip and see if he either wants to sort of sit off or even might have enough speed to clear, and depending upon what Raylu wants to do. And Raylu's going to be aggressive with him. So, yeah, I just kind of like this horse.
Guys, it'd be a major host fail on my part if I didn't ask Kevin about this horse, because Kevin's down there. Kevin, you don't have this horse in the top 3, which really concerns me, and I almost have a feeling that you're going to tell me something that Calhoun told you about this horse that's not good, or is it just you just don't like the layoff? What is it, Kevin?
No, I love the horse. I think he's definitely live in there. He was my 4th on there. I think I've got him in the pick 5, but just because of the pace scenario, I decided to not put him in the top 3 there. But I mean, he was running 4 Thurograph and has that one bust race. And I do like this cutback. I do like the post for him, and we'll just see. He did send pretty hard in that last one against All Night Moonlight, so we'll see if Ray can just sort of relax with him a little bit if need be. You guys see how the break goes.
Last thing, and we're going to go to the last race. Paul, I'm not a big fan of Aubrey Green. She just doesn't win a lot, but she knows.
Wait a minute, Howard, you got to cut Aubrey Green. She is fantastic, and she rides state-bred horses.
She's 11%, Kevin.
Like a mocha.
Sorry.
She rides them.
All right. All right. Sorry, Aubrey. I'll take it back.
You're going to get some people hating you. You're going to lose fans. Everybody loves Aubrey. I've never heard anybody say that.
Well, I don't know her personally. I'm sure she's a wonderful person. And I'm not saying she's a bad rider, but I mean, she's 11%, Kevin. I'm a math guy. I just only see what I can see. Sorry. But I was about to give her a compliment, though, Kevin, because Mike J on the rail, she knows this horse really well. She rides this horse really well. She's aggressive. I know there's other speed, but when you got the rail in a big field, I think Mike J is very live. Paul, you have this horse second. Kevin, I'm assuming you're using this horse also in your pick 5, even though you don't have this horse in the top 5. Either one of you can just chime in.
Yeah, Mike J's put some good races together. Those open company ones there, February 4th at Fairgrounds. That was a nice field. I think Airborne Forest is the other one there behind All West. It is one that just doesn't stop, right? So we'll go, we'll compete, we'll duel, we'll vie, and not quit, until the race is over. So you don't have to worry about this one folding.
My only concern with that one, because I looked at that one too, and it was in this when this horse gets into stakes company, tends to maybe hit the board, but can't get the win, can't get on the win end. So I like it maybe as an underneath shot, but at 5-1, I just didn't love it on the win end, but definitely quality.
I mean, there's other speed. We're going to move on, guys. Scuteria, the 4, is interesting. And by the way, is a full brother to a horse running in the last race. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but there's also Unified Report, the number 13, Kevin, coming back for Dallas Stewart and Mitch Murrell, who I got a feeling that horse could run well. I know the 13's a brutal post, but maybe could sit off the 10 and be interesting if he's an improved horse. I think first time gelding, if I recall, also. So I don't know. It's a very tough race. I think it's another race that you might have to spread. I'm curious to see everyone's pick 5s here coming up. Well, I've seen them, but I think the fans will be interested in seeing what people are doing, because there's a lot of ways to go, Kevin, in this pick 5, which, by the way, is a 50-cent, and it's not like a rainbow. The black, is it still called the Black Gold 5? And is it a carryover situation or just a regular pick 5?
Regular pick 5, 15% takeout, 50 cents. Perfect. Yeah, it's just what it hits the sweet spot early, and then we've got the late one every day.
Awesome. Everyone should play it for sure. 15% takeout, you said? 1-5?
Yeah, 1-5.
Absolutely. You got to play it for sure. All right, let's go to last race, guys. The last race of, race 10. My bad. This is last race. Yeah. I'm having some issues tonight. All right. It's because I got confused with the pick 5 change earlier today. Anyway, last race, closeout leg, 6:15 Eastern, main special, 5.5 on the dirt. Louisiana breds, another big field of 12. By the way, love the name of the 12. If anyone saw that, Also eligible with the 13, our last half. Let me go ahead and take the banners down for 9 and put up 10. There's our race 10. We're pretty similar here. It looks like, guys, that a lot of the horses that have run we're really not big fans of. We're going to fresh faces. Kevin, it's a complete guess, although there is breeding and workouts we can look at. The favorite is the number 9 Undercover Girl for Cox and Lannery, but you're going with Steve Asmussen and Jaime Torres at 6-1. Sacred Saint, the number 3. Talk about this horse, Kevin.
Yeah, full to Scuderia, right? You were just mentioning, right?
Yep.
Who won on debut and looked good doing it and showed speed. And I think we've got a nice draw here. And it's just hard to know what sort of other speed is going to be signed on with this lightly raced. Really no form established with a lot of these horses. So I think we have a good spot. Torres is fantastic. When he gets to the lead, I think this is the type of horse that I'm going to be wanting to bet him on. We'll see what sort of price we get. And there is that Brad Cox horse in there, second time starter, right? Or is it first time out? The number 9.
First.
So it's a spread race for me. Yeah. First time out here. But yeah, I do like that number 3. And I think we will get a better price than the Cox.
Yeah. The workouts are not like spectacular. I mean, he has a bullet workout, but Steve doesn't necessarily work the horses fast, and you got to believe, Kevin, with this kind of field and the purse, that this horse is going to come out running aggressively. I mean, if this horse shows speed, I would assume this horse will be very live. You see, there's 5 first-time starters out of this dam, and 3 of them have won. So when you got 3 out of 5, of the progeny that have come out firing, including there's Scuteri, excuse me, and there's some other ones that are decent. I mean, Plum Good won by 10 first time out there. I know it was the Louisiana Downs, but still, I think the board will tell, but we can't see the board, of course, Kevin, before the pick 5. So if this horse is live, this horse is going to run, I would think. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
$100,000.
Yeah. She'll be a runner for sure. She'll be part of the race for sure.
Yeah. Let's talk about the 9 is my top choice. And Pete, I'll let you go here. Paul's top choice also. I mean, Pete, we're guessing here. I mean, we don't know, but I mean, look, if we came out and said we know for sure, then we'd go to the bank right now. But this is a Nyquist filly out of it. This is the first full out of the dam free cover, who wasn't, a nice horse. That wasn't anything spectacular. Won 180,000 for Andrew Lerner, who ran in all over the place actually, but did win first out, if you notice, in a main special. I did notice that at Churchill. So I don't know, how the progeny are going to do of free cover, but this horse, if it's Cox and Lannery and has some decent works, you think this horse is going to be live.
Yeah, you sort of touched on a few of it. The last couple works were strong, so it looks like, especially I like the nice strong 4 furlong. Then right before this race goes with a nice 5 furlong sort of blowout, runs a nice minute work, which I really like. So maybe this horse is just getting sharp. It is Brad Cox, obviously. And the one thing in the pedigree line, so if you look at Formulator, you could see obviously 6 horses. You could see the mom, the dad, and the grandparents. 4 of the 6 all won first time out. So maybe there's a little bit of precocity in there. So maybe we can get this one home first time. Also, one quick stat. Brad Cox, first-time starters on the dirt at Fairgrounds, 5 for 15 wins, 14 for 15 in the money. So when he's got some first-time starters here, he can fire with them. So when I saw that, I was like, all right, in a race where there's not a hell of a lot to go on, I don't necessarily love anyone. Plus, we were handicapping this fast because we found out late that this one was the one in the pick 5. But this was this was one that I feel like you can't really leave off the ticket, even if you don't like him on top.
Kevin, there's a stat for your simulcast. What can you read that last stat again, Pete? That last
first 15 in the money.
First time starters on dirt at Fairground, 5 for 15 wins, 14 for 15 in the money.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what, though? I'd love to. Do you have stats on Louisiana breds with that?
I didn't look whether it was state breds only or if it would. Okay. I don't know. Yeah, I didn't look. I usually don't check that unless it's specific.
Okay. The other
it's interesting to see the Coteau Grove Farms bred is one of the best and most high profile breeders in Louisiana, and they didn't sell, right? They continue to own this horse, and they've worked with Brad with other projects, other horses bought in. So it should be a good runner. And I think a lot of people, if you want to try to beat this one, a lot of value in it, right? A lot of equity in beating this one.
Oh, for sure. Paul, it's not really a concern. I do find it a bit odd, and Kevin, I'd love to hear your input also on this. The horse has been working at Turfway on the Sin. I don't know if that means eventually he's going to be, or she's going to, oh boy. I don't know if that means, got to have a drink, Kevin, when you misgender. I don't know if that means she's going to be like turf meant at some point, but Paul, I found that a little bit odd. I don't know. Am I reading too much into it?
Yeah, probably. Brad's got a lot of horses, and he's based in Kentucky, and Churchill is his base, but I don't find it odd. I think when this race comes around, if this horse is taking money at all, and I don't think she's going to be 7-2. I think it's a tough morning line to make, so no
Yes.
criticism. But if this horse is live on the board, I think you could just unload on this horse. It's Nyquist. I will say, Pete, that stat you have, if you add in 2-year-olds, it drops to 21%. Because I did Brad for 2-year-olds on first-time starters on dirt at Fairgrounds. It was 21. However, nonetheless, Nyquist, obviously, top sire. Brad and Corey are good together. You got to figure the horse is live with Corey on her. Again, I think if this horse takes money, you can really. Of course, we're not going to know that.
No.
I'm going to maybe Howard single her in the pick 5 and then hope she takes money 5 races later.
Look, it's not the worst play. I think I don't know what to do with the 5 guys play in a minute, and we'll just talk about this horse and go on to our tickets. I mean, she's been at Saratoga, faced against Candide. Finished third in the Breeders' Cup juvenile fillies, and then was up against it from the 11 hole at Churchill. This is Raylu. I mean, if these firsters don't quite break rate or run, I mean, the 5 to me is the most logical one, Kevin, of the horses that have run based on the connections and the works and all that. First Lasix, by the way. Shout out to Chad who mentioned that. Kevin, this horse is probably live also, but doesn't have as much speed as the others, so that could be a concern.
Yeah, but also has some seasoning, right? So it could set up nicely. And give me a minute, Brandon, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Talk about progeny of Star Guitar. So this is definitely going to be an interesting one to watch and see. And Dallas, as we can see across both cards, he's not afraid to take these lawbreds and run them against open company in different states on bigger stages, which I love. I think it's fantastic. Take his shots. And I think this one could come home and find easier and have some seasoning and be live for sure.
There's a lot of ways to go. I know Pete, we're going to move on, but Pete's got the 6, Good and Sassy, who was staked first time out. Didn't run great, but should be better this time. I thought the 10, About to Set Sail, had some interesting breeding. I also thought 12, A Misdemeanor. What a great name. A Misdemeanor, who didn't do a lot, but showed some speed and now has been working really well for Shane Wilson. There's a ton of ways to go here, Kevin. It's another race that's really tricky. This is just a really fun pick 5 here on Saturday.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a fun one. You've got to just sort of find your race in there and take one stand and sort of like bring it all together and make sure that you're not just accidentally backing into all favorites somehow, which can happen.
I hear you. Well, Kevin, we're
by the way, real quick, Howard, I just wanted to clarify for everybody listening that stat because I couldn't find it for a second. It was in the past year. That's why what Paul was talking about. So that 14 for 15 and the 5 for 15 was in the past year. So I just wanted to clarify that in case anybody looked and couldn't get to that number.
Kevin, I'm going to talk about your pick 5 and then let you go. And then we're going to stay on for a few more minutes with you off the screen. Kevin is going 6-10 with 2, with 4, 5, 9, with 6, 9, 10, 13, with 1, 3, 5, 6, 8, 9, 12. It's an $84 ticket, and you're singling Behemoth Star in the second leg, Kevin. And you're going obviously skinny early, spreading late.
Yeah. I think with it's going to be hard to tell. I'm just looking at my odds and wondering if where I'm getting my value as I'm looking back over this.
Yeah, no worries. Hey, Kevin, I'm just going to show you this because you're not going to be on the screen. Look, here's my pick 5. Look who I've got singled. Bam! Let's go, Kevin Kilroy.
Let's do it, baby.
Go.
Let's do it.
Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, I think I might be tempted to, to single one of these little interesting ones, and and the turf race there with the closers, possibly Tufani could be, one that I just know I'm going to get some equity there. I think she'll be bet in the win pools. I just knowing the barn and how they sort of bet. I think if she's live, she'll be bet in the win pools, but might not necessarily be in the pick 5. And then it's hard to find another single. It's hard to find another one that I really want to lean on in here. So guys, hopefully this one cashes for us.
All right. Kevin, we really appreciate being on. Good luck tomorrow. We'll look forward. Watch Kevin Kilroy, guys, on the simulcast feed. He does an unbelievable job. He's just a great guy, and Joey Dack and everyone. We'll be watching Kevin. Enjoy the Fairgrounds meet, man. Good luck. And
guys, thanks for having me on. Thanks for
trust your luck, right, Kevin?
Yeah, you gotta trust your luck, mate.
All right. All right. Take care, Kevin.
Hey, Kevin.
Have a great night.
Your luck, mate.
Good seeing you, Kev.
Thanks a lot, Kevin.
Bye,
Take care. Bye-bye. Hey guys, there's a comment in the chat, and then we got to get to our pick 5s, and then I got to go. But this comment cracked me up. But I got to show it. Kyle Sellers, have you guys heard that your voice doesn't match your face? Been watching the pod on Spotify while I worked for 6 months. My first time watching Three for a Loop. Guys, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't.
Well, I responded and said I must be a lot more good looking than he expected. So for me, it's a compliment.
Well, anyway.
I don't really know what he meant about you, but for me, I'm taking it as a compliment. But that's just how I do.
I hear you. Well, Kyle, thanks for joining the show, man. Really
welcome, Kyle.
It. Don't be a stranger, Kyle. All right, real quick, guys. Pete, your pick 5, 3, 4, 6, 10 with 7. With 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, with 5, 6, 10, with 5, 6, 9, $90.
Yeah, I was sort of I could have probably spread in every race if I had the budget to do it. So the first leg I was a little wide open. I mean, my top choice was that 8-1 shot, who's a second-time starter, Norwich, that you and I like, but it's not like I have full confidence in that horse. In the next leg, I wound up singling that 7. It was what's the name? Who Took the Money? I just thought with Deshaun Parker getting up, I'm going to take a leap of faith. This was another one where there was other horses I liked but didn't love, and I know you guys are singling the 2. So we're it's funny that we're all singling in the same leg, or 3 of us are singling the same leg but different horses. And then the third leg, like I said, that was the one I had the most trouble with. So I just went with my sort of top 5 A's. And in the last race, I kind of do like that Brad Cox horse, so I didn't feel the need to go too deep. But since she's a first time starter, I don't have full confidence, so I just added a couple of the others that I like, and we'll see if we can catch a price somewhere in the middle here. Actually, that first leg, I think if we can get that horse Norwich home, that would be a nice price to hopefully kick it off.
Paul's pick 5, 6, 7 with 2, 3, 7, 8 with 2, 5, 9, 10. With 110, with 3, 5, 9, $96, Paul.
Yeah, my spread races, as you can see, are the second 2. I'm going to try to get by that first leg. We all like the 6. I think the 7's got a decent shot there, and that could be a price for me. No strong feelings in the second 2 legs, and then I get a little Jenny Craig toward the end. 110. I'm going to try to get by with 110 in the penultimate leg. Although I do in that race. Lang's Day, the horse that Kevin likes, he was the one I dropped off in order to play 3 in the last race. I may adjust that on the fly because I may decide to lean heavier on the 9 in the last race.
All right. Well, we'll look at scratches. So, Paul, let me get this straight. You're ending your pick 5 with 110 with 3, 5, 9. Is that correct?
Correct.
Oh, very, very interesting,
boy.
sir.
Great minds.
Or rip that one up, Paul. Or rip that one right up.
Oh, Pete's always there to throw it to
Hey, Howard.
Pete's always there to poo-poo.
Kyle came back with his opinion of what he was expecting, so you can check it.
Oh boy, Howard's the voice of a big guy, and Pete is the voice of an older gentleman wearing a flat cap.
Well, let me.
There, you can adjust that.
He mentioned the gray hair in the next one. This is all gray, Kyle. It's just I cut it short, so this is completely gray, as you can see. So you were pretty close with that one.
Anyway, I'm going 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 because I just like consecutive numbers because I'm a math teacher. No, that's not the reason. With 2, same single Behemoth Star as Kevin. With 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 11, that's the turf race, guys. It's a tough race. With 110, with 3, 5, 9, as I tip my cap to Paul. You have to take stand somewhere. This is a tricky sequence. I don't know if the 2 is the most likely winner in the second leg, but sort of like you guys, or at least like you, Pete, it just feels like the race where you need to take a stand. I'm not sure you have to go very deep there, and I got to take a stand somewhere. So I'm taking a stand in that race. Guys, I go ahead and put on the final banner and wrap it up. Been a great show, a lot of fun. Again, next week we're going Wednesday late afternoon. Check for the time. We might be changing that, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see how that goes. We're going to be covering, by the way, just stake races. Not going to do a pick 5. We're going to cover a bunch of stake races, probably at Churchill, because Thanksgiving weekend has a lot of really good stakes. Guys, we're going to close the show. Paul, I'm going to let you close the show. Any final thoughts, anything you want to say about Kentucky, or just anything else as we close?
Yeah, I just wanted to pass on, Howard. I've been obviously in communication with the Dormans, and they're doing pretty well. And Kelly, I texted back and forth with today, and they're very appreciative in general for all the support of the pod, and I obviously let them know about the donation. So hats off to you, Howard, for putting that together, and hats off to all our viewers who made that work. And Leslie, they put up a beautiful Facebook post last night, just to kind of thanking everyone for everything. Just as they reflect on the last week, 10 days, they're very, very appreciative, almost overwhelmed with all the support they've gotten. So he wanted to make sure that I passed that on, and this is the first show since I've been back, so I wanted to do that. And I think now we focus on celebrating the life of that little guy.
Absolutely. And Paul, thanks for representing the podcast so well. And to everyone out there, you can thank me for putting it together. But listen, we had almost $3,500. And a lot of people in the Pick 6 who played the Pick 6 just donated their winnings to the Dorman family and to Cody and to Make-A-Wish. So shout out to all of you guys out there for donating almost $3,500 to Make-A-Wish. Just thanks a lot. Unbelievable. We really thank everyone out there. And on that wonderful.
I was going to say, by the way, if anyone still
You're
wants
not gonna poo-poo that, are you?
No. I was going to say, if anyone still wants to, on the front page of our website, there's a little Cody Dorman section with the articles by Paul and the show, the interview live with Cody and family. And there's a link to specifically that branch of the Make-A-Wish. So awesome. if you can't remember what the link is, you can't remember what it is, just go to our website. It's on the homepage.
Thank you, Pete.
Good job,
thanks
Pete.
for doing that, because I didn't even know that. So thank you very much, Pete. I appreciate it. All right. So look at my co-hosts are so awesome. For my one of our co-hosts, Pete Visco, Paul Halloran, and for Kevin Kilroy of Fairgrounds, this has been your host, Howard Kravitz, episode 309 of the HHH Racing Podcast. We'll see you next Wednesday. Check your times. It's going to be probably late afternoon. Crush your bets at the Fairgrounds this weekend. Take care, everyone. Have a great night. Bye-bye.
If you have not followed his Triple H Horse Racing podcast, you're missing out. It's one of the best podcasts in the country.